Okay. Um, Welcome back. And decided to just get on here a bit more candidly today because I have a couple things going on. It has been a week. I'm exhausted. There's just a lot that I'm dealing with, and I'll kind of get into some of that. But I thought it was important to take a moment and really, well, it's been crazy. I have been recording without my mic. And so I'm having to record a few things. And just it's just been super busy. I have a 6-month old who is teething and also experiencing some food allergy issues, and it's just been really stressful. So I wanted to take moments to be transparent about some of those things, but also um, I had a bit of a conversation with one of my friends recently who I was sharing with her about some of the anxieties I do deal with. And I do deal with anxiety quite a bit in different ways. And I have to work a lot to manage it. Sometimes it's better than other times, but I was sharing something with her and she had responded back. And she sent another separate message, just say thank you because she felt like a lot of people don't talk about anxiety, and sometimes it can be very isolating because this friend of mine also deals with some anxiety, and we're very similar in some senses. And she had said not a lot of people talk about it, and so she feels like she's the only one sometimes, and that she's alone. And I it hit me because I realized that I do think because of my chosen career path and my education, I am surrounded. It could be like I'm exposed to a bit more of the mental health dynamics, and I look at things from a different perspective because I do have a bit more of a um, academic exposure to mental health. And I think also dealing in the HR space and the recruitment space, the talent space in general, um, people come to me and they'll bring issues and they'll bring problems. And a lot of times I'll just notice certain things about it. But I think I'm a bit more comfortable speaking about my own experience with anxiety just because partly I've been dealing with it for such a long time in my life, but also I think it helps me understand people and understand individuals and absolutely understand the candidate experience, the candidate life cycle. I think understanding the employee experience, I think that's been a big part. My own lived experience helps me understand people in the workplace. And so I thought I would come on here and just share a little bit more about myself and my anxiety and just talk about it, make some space to talk about it because I think I've taken for granted that this has been a little bit more normalized in my world, in my worldview, but it is not the case for most people and most humans. I definitely want to try to advocate more for talking about mental health and mental health issues, especially because so many people deal with anxiety and depression, and more than people think about. A lot of times people don't notice this and they're not necessarily aware. And so I wanted to just talk about my own experience because even though I have worked in HR, it's usually the place where people come to, but I deal with my own things as well. And sometimes I think from an HR perspective, well, I will say from an HR perspective, it's so important for me to remain neutral, and part of that is showing up with empathy, but y- in order to really help people, the social work perspective is to meet people where they are. And so that really doesn't allow me to bring myself as much into certain conversations because I have to be super, super neutral. But it does allow me to come from a place of compassion and empathy and show up for people as they are human. And yeah, anyway, so I have had quite a week with anxiety, just dealing with trying to balance work, trying to really manage being a mom, being a new mom, and um, eh, it's been difficult. I think partly because I am trying to take care of my little one, and being a new mom. There's so many stressors when it comes to, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? And this is constantly in my brain. This week, I had a lot of work that I needed to do. I have some client work that I'm doing, but also in the one-on-one kind of coaching space, but also working with more of the talent and recruitment space as well. And sometimes that recruitment space can really pick up, and managing a requisition or position can be all encompassing until you find the right person. And so that can take up a lot of your time and eat up a lot of your time. And I had a very full requisition this week that just had a lot of applicants, and I will talk about this in another episode, but the applicants were just, there were some weird things happening with that pool and the candidates. And I do believe the use of AI. And so I'll get into that into another episode, but it caused a lot of stress. I will say it caused a lot of stress from my end because um, trying to work through those candidates was difficult. Are these candidates real? Are they not real? Is this what is what they're saying on the resume? Is that even real? And anyway, that it blew my mind a little bit because I hadn't experienced a candidate pool in this capacity. I don't think ever, to go from posting a rec and receiving over 1,100 applicants in a 24-hour period is insane. I have absolutely had really full recs, and had postings where, we've had 500 applicants, sometimes 1,000. But it doesn't usually go from 0 to 100 that quickly. Usually it takes some time to build up to that. I think from the recruitment perspective, when you're in that recruiter chair, and obviously you want to find the right candidates, but um, the amount of work that feels like hits you in the face when you see a candidate pool go from 0 to 100 is insane. It feels like, oh my gosh, this is never ending. I'm never going to get out of this work. There's so much to do. It can definitely eat at your mind. And then on top of that, just my baby has been in the phase of, he's teething, and he has his first tooth. That's so exciting, and I want to enjoy those moments and really savor those moments. But also, I'm sorry, I'm going to get emotional because I do think I'm doing a good job about that. But I'm also really trying hard to um, manage the work that seems like a lot, but also trying to be mindful of the growth of my child in this growing process. In the teething phase, he's in the place of starting to eat solids, and it is a lot. It's a lot, I think, as a mom and as a new mom, and sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing at all. And we had a little bit of an issue this week where the baby had an allergic reaction to some solid foods. And for any moms who are dealing with being a mom or being a new parent and trying to figure out the food allergy situation, I'm here. I understand. I get it. And trying to deal with that, with also trying to deal with work, it can definitely be a lot. But anyway, I had this situation where I had given eggs to my baby for the first time, and he didn't have a reaction right away, but he did have a reaction a little bit later, and he was scratching, and he broke out, and he was already breaking out from, I think what I didn't realize until today, until this morning, was that I had been eating eggs, and I didn't realize that he had been consuming through me in his breast milk, that it might have been causing him these flare-ups that he was having on his skin. He was having skin reactions. And then when he had eggs for the first time physically, it was even more exacerbated. So he was scratching a lot and he was coughing like he couldn't breathe. And so we got it taken care of and we got it figured out. And, he has an EpiPen now, which is a little scary in itself. At that same time, I had also given him avocado and because he had already eaten it. And so my mind was blown because I was thinking, is it the eggs? Is it the avocado? Like a delayed reaction from the avocado. It's just so much to think about when you're um, giving baby food for the first time, and it sometimes doesn't, and a reaction may not happen right away. It may take a few tries. And so that he's still in the early stages of eating certain solids. And I think I just got excited and was like, oh yay, he's eating this, but I got ahead myself. And so anyway, that did happen and it really stressed me out. And I because he had that reaction, I stopped eating eggs. Um just because I didn't want to touch it and then touch him or forget. So I just stopped and I realized like his skin has really cleared up. And it hit me this morning that these were probably connected, that my consumption was affecting him because I haven't been eating it. And so he, through me, hasn't been eating it. And I just felt just major mom guilt that I was potentially putting harm in the way of my baby, and that just feels awful. And I think dealing with this kind of mindset, obviously for me, it can be very anxiety inducing. I will I experience like a few different things of anxiety. Part of it is like those spiraling thoughts going from 0 to 100. That happens quite a bit. And I think in the postpartum anxiety, I do experience a lot of postpartum anxiety. And there's been a lot of different situations that I've experienced. So I will probably get into some of these different scenarios later on, but I'm just kind of wanting to get into this specific situation because it was a good example. The anxiety of the 0 to 100 has been a lot. It's been a theme this week. It happened with my rec. It's happening with just my thoughts. As soon as that hit me and I realized and I recognized that, oh no, because stopped eating the eggs, been doing a lot better. We still need to actually get him fully tested just to make sure that that is what it is. My mind is partly all over the place, but we do need to just double check because if it is an egg allergy, obviously there's so many other things that means. We need to be mindful of all these other things that he's consuming. But just the 0 to 100 thoughts don't necessarily go away. It continues and they keep going. And there's different parts of it. And like they come in waves. They don't go away. I think for me, sometimes my anxiety looks like panic attacks. It can escalate to that. Usually I've been a lot better lately, but most of the time I think I might be either hiding or masking my anxiety because I've been pretty good historically about trying to regulate my body. One of the biggest things for me that's a trigger is that I notice in my body that I have either sensation or my breathing will escalate or my heart will start beating. There'll be physical elements that happen first. When that happens, and I think the biggest challenge for most people who deal with anxiety in this way is that they don't notice that these things happen. They don't notice that their body becomes dysregulated. And that's one of the biggest things to regulate first to manage the anxiety. And so I noticed that was happening. For me, I can be a bit of a cleaner, so I will go and lately it's been washing the dishes. It used to be like mopping the floor. It is a bit of a coping and everyone is different. Sometimes for me, music is very helpful. I can be very auditory. So it might be like I just need to put my headphones in and put on some sound. That helps a lot for me to get myself into like a regulated place. Sometimes breathing helps for me. Sometimes meditation helps for me. Sometimes soothing sounds help for me. Sometimes smells help for me. Help me. But they'll be like, for me, sometimes it's like maybe a little bit of incense or sage, or I do have essential oils that will help. Certain things will help calm me down. And once I can get my body regulated, then I get to a place of getting my mind into a much clearer place. Yeah. So it's definitely been one of those weeks where I'm trying to balance work and trying to balance being mom, being a first time mom. It's not perfect. And just like many of you, I think my experience is not a singular experience. There's lots of other things that I do to help myself. I talked about therapy. Therapy has been very big for me. I think prenatal therapy was really important, and then the postnatal therapy is really important because postnatal for me has been just waves of different things and different experiences, and I have to kind of go work through them. Um, I also have my own coach who I work with, and she is amazing. And it's been a while for me, but she is such a great supporter in my corner, and she helps me continue to focus on my goals. And I'm just so grateful for her. But for me as well, and this isn't for everyone, but I also do have a little bit of a medication that I use that I've found really, really helpful. So there are so many different things that you can use to help with your anxiety. And I want to continue to encourage anyone who's struggling to just know you're not alone, first of all, but also, especially because this was coming from a friend of mine, and I never would want her to feel that way, but I wouldn't want anyone else to feel that way either. No, you're not alone, and also really important to just take care of yourself, especially those who are working, those who are trying to find a job right now. These are really, these are really big key things in life that many, many people have to deal with their anxiety and also find a job or also work. Many people are dealing with anxiety and trying to get promoted. And the promotion process can be very anxiety inducing as well. So I just wanted to share a little bit of my week and what I've been dealing with recently. And if that is something that's relatable or can help you, I hope it does. But feel free to send me your comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I know that there are so many people right now dealing with this, and just know that you're not alone. That's all I had to say. And until next time, I hope to see you again.